Hello, beautiful people. This is Abraham, and I'm recording this message for my Spiritual Abe YouTube channel. And today, God told me to record this. First and foremost, God has been telling me to do many, many things. But if there's one thing that God told me recently is to share my testimony, and that is why I'm here recording this video. I'm manifesting and I'm setting strong intentions that this video is going to find the right people. This video is going to find people who are ready to listen. This video is going to find people who want to align themselves, that are ready to align themselves with the path of healing. People who are ready for a change. People who want to change something within themselves and their reality. Claim the miracle in their life. Claim their dreams, achieve their purpose and destiny, and have a clear connection with God and the universe. And with that being said, today I'm going to talk about the path of healing, like walking the path of healing. My own testimony when it comes to that, my own experience, and how I was able to strengthen my connection with God and have a clear connection with God. Well, the way that I see my connection, first I'm going to talk about the way that I see my connection with God now, in this present moment. In this present moment, the way that I see my connection with God is a strong connection. I clearly hear what God wants me to say, wants me to do, and I clearly know what God showed me, because God showed me many things through my dreams, through the downloads that I receive, through my own gift. God told me what my purpose is. So my connection with God is very strong, it's clear, and the universe showed me my purpose and destiny and what I'm supposed to be doing. So there's no questioning that for me now. It's very clear, there's no interruptions when it comes to it. So that's my connection right now. I basically walk my days. I walk every step that I take, every step that I take in my life is blessed by God, is destined, and is protected by God. I literally pray that God guides and protects my steps every single day of my life. Every single step that I take, I pray that is the step that God wants me to take, not the step that I want to take. It's not about me, it's about what God wants me to do. I also understand that I am God's vessel. I am the universe vessel. I am here doing God's work. I am here to do God's work through my purpose and destiny, and separating my ego from my purpose. Because at the end of the day, it's not about me. It's not about what I want to do. It's not about what the path that I want to walk. It's about the path that God wants me to walk. It's about where God wants to take me. It's not about me. It's about God. And that's my connection and my relationship with God and the universe in this moment. But it was not like that. It was not like that at all. Like, the connection that I had with God, it was completely different. The relationship that I had with God and the universe back then, it was truly damaged, because I was forced. Well, beliefs were forced into me. Church hurt as well created damage in the relationship that I had with God, and the experiences that I had with people close to me, family members that used to go to church and say that they believed in God, but then they acted a different way or hurt people. So my relationship with God started getting damaged throughout my life. And at some point, I couldn't hear God. At some point, I didn't even know if I had a connection with God or not. At some point, I didn't even want to believe in God, even though deeply, I always believed in God. Deeply, I always went back to God. In those hardship moments, I always asked God. So I always had that connection with God. But it was truly damaged. It was truly, truly damaged. I could not hear God at all. Like, my faith was super, super small, if non-existent. But the way that I see one example that I can give of a relationship, that your relationship with God, it's like a radio, right? So God is trying to communicate with you all the time. You have a transmission, or you have like a direct connection with God. All of us do. Um we have a direct connection with God. But sometimes that connection gets interrupted, just like a radio. So when you are trying to listen to the radio, you gotta hit a certain spot. You gotta put it right. You gotta move to the right location. You gotta be at the right altitude. You gotta be at the right spot in order for you to have that clear, audio, and that clear connection within the radio. Well, your connection with God is the same thing. Whenever you're trying to have a connection with God, but you are in the wrong place, wrong circumstances, with the wrong people, being the wrong version of yourself. Well, no versions of yourself are wrong, but not the version of yourself that God wants you to be, then your connection with God is truly interrupted. Like, interrupted. You cannot hear, you cannot listen. And that was me back then. At 23 years old, I became consciously awoken. I woke up consciously, and not by choice, honestly. Not by choice, because I could not listen to God. Like I said, my relationship with God was damaged. My relationship with God was interrupted. So I couldn't listen to what God wanted me to do. I couldn't listen to the path that God wanted me to take. So therefore, I started taking all the wrong steps, and I started heading, the wrong way. And God tried to make me listen, but since my connection was interrupted, I couldn't listen. So at 23 years old, literally God picked me up, removed places, people, circumstances, whatever, removed it from my life, and placed me in the path of alignment. God picked me up and placed me in true alignment. And I didn't have no choice, honestly. I did not have no choice. God said, you know what, I'm gonna pick you up and place you here. And now you're gonna do the work. Now you're gonna do God's work. Now you're gonna heal, and you're gonna walk the path of healing. That's what God said. But I couldn't hear, because my connection was interrupted. So I didn't even know what I was going through. Anyway, that's why I'm sharing my testimony, because that was God picking me up and aligning me, but I couldn't hear. And in that moment in my life at 23 years old, when I woke up consciously and God aligned me with who he and God aligned me so I can walk the path of healing, I noticed that ever since I started going through transformations, ever since I started discovering identities of myself that did not align with my purpose, basically. Because the way that I now see it, the way that I understand it, because I have been studying, I mean, I went through my own path, I went through my own experience. It's my testimony, so it's like only I would know what I went through, and I have been studying it for a while. And now I realize that since that moment, I have been transforming. Since that moment, I have been finding layers within myself. Like the superficial layer, it started with that. It started with things superficial. It started with the superficial layer, and then it went back to another layer, and then another layer, and then another layer. And I don't really know how many layers of those identities. I don't know how many layers I had to dismantle, but that was the walk of healing. That was me walking the path of healing. That is when you decide to start looking within, and God is telling you, look within you. See everything that makes you in this moment, and start dismantling that shit. Start dismantling things that are not aligned with you. Start dismantling things that are not supposed to be with you, in you any longer. Because 944, your experiences in life, all of that makes you who you are. But the pain and the trauma and coping mechanisms and behavioral issues, or mental issues, emotional issues. All of those things are outer layers that at some point we don't see. But when you start, with the superficial, well, basically, the path of healing is dismantling layers within yourself and finding yourself, because we get lost at some point in the matrix. We get lost, when we start gaining consciousness, we start getting affected truly by the matrix and by society, and then we lose ourselves and we lose our consciousness. We just get lost. We start adapting to identities that are not truly who we are meant to be. 1044. So at that point in my life, I started dismantling layers and I started going through transformations. And those transformations were not pretty. They're beautiful. Now that I look at it, it's transforming and like going through that transformation, many transformations. It was something beautiful because it was me dismantling old identities, and it was me healing old traumas and digging and digging and digging until I found myself and until I found my authenticity. But it was painful, like it's painful dismantling a version of yourself that you think you are, like a version that you think that makes you who you are, and then you find out that that version of yourself is just a layer. That version of yourself is just a protection shield. That version of yourself is just a coping mechanism or a traumatic response. That layer is just, insecurity, or many things, pain. And it's hard to go through those things. It's painful to understand that you need to let go of those things and let go of that old identity. And in that moment, I didn't even know that I was dismantling all layers. I didn't even understand anything. All I knew is that I was transforming. All I knew, it was that I was, going through pain, and I was going through it. And that's what I thought, that I was going through it. But God was guiding me every single step of the way. God was, bringing stuff up, bringing challenges towards my life, in order for me to dismantle those layers, and in order for me to dismantle those old identities and heal trauma and heal many things and heal relationships and heal the relationship with myself. And I didn't even know. So that's why I'm sharing this testimony, because I feel like there's going to be somebody out there that are starting to become who they want to become, and that they are being placed in alignment as well. Because at some point in your life, since many people's connection with God are interrupted, and the connection is just, interrupted, you cannot listen. At some point, God is going to remove you from places, like it's going to be a drastic change where God is going to tell you, walk the path of healing, or here, align yourself, and you got to face these things. Whether you like it or not, you're going to stop running away from it, and you're going to face them. That's why I'm making this video, for people to actually understand what it means to walk the path of healing, and what it means to getting aligned with God. And when God in the universe, and it's like, honestly, whatever you believe in. If you believe in God, then good. I personally have been talking about God and referring to God a lot. But I also believe in the universe. I also believe in guardian angels. I also believe in my ancestors. I believe in the divine. I believe in the source. So it's whatever you believe in. And even if you don't believe in God or the universe, well, believe in science, and believe that in this life, you can achieve anything that you want. And in this life, your brain is powerful. And your brain manifests your reality. So if you want to change your reality, all you got to do is believe in science and believe that your brain is powerful as hell to change that reality. And I don't even know why I'm saying this, but there got to be somebody out there that I'm trying to reach. Not only people that believe in God, but people that also believe in the universe, and people that also believe in themselves, and people that also believe in science, because there's whatever you believe in. 1444. Your dream reality is possible. But anyway, that's the path of healing. Walking the path of healing means dismantling layers of yourself, which which are identities within yourself, traumatic responses, pain, whatever it is that those layers were created because of your experiences, right? So it's dismantling all of those layers, dismantling all of those identities, and finally, finally getting to that version of yourself who you know you are, that version of yourself that God wants you to be, that version of yourself that is going to be aligned with your purpose and destiny. And when you do that, God is going to honor you. God is going to graduate you. God is going to celebrate you, and you're also going to feel so honored. You're going to feel so grateful that God aligned you in the first place. You're going to feel so grateful that God removed things from your life in the first place, even though it was painful as hell. You're going to be grateful because when you finally become that version of yourself that is who you're meant to be, so you can hold your purpose and achieve your purpose and carry it, everything else is going to come your way. Beautiful things are going to come your way. Like, your purpose is linked to your dreams and to your dream reality and to all the beautiful things and the beautiful people that you're meant to be and the beautiful person that you're meant to become. So yeah, that's my testimony. And I love making YouTube videos. And today I can tell you that I have a clear connection with God, and I am not holding back. I am not afraid. I dismantle layers and layers, and I probably still have some other layers to dismantle. I'm not aware yet, but where I'm at right now, I have a clear connection with God. God tells me things. God shows me things, and I know what my purpose is, and I know what I'm supposed to be doing. That's why I'm recording this video, because I'm supposed to be sharing my testimony, and here I am. And I think I said what I needed to say unapologetically myself, and it just flowed, no interruption. Anyway, walk the path of healing, y'all. Walk the path of healing, because God is aligning you for a reason. Even if you don't understand it right now, God is aligning you so you can achieve your purpose, so you can align yourself and become the version of yourself, so you can achieve your purpose, destiny, and attract abundance and all of the wealth and beautiful things in your life and the beautiful people and your dreams and everything. Like, it's just so beautiful. So yeah, just heal yourself. Walk the path of healing.